Hi everyone and welcome to this new video tutorial. My name is Jacopo, front-end developer at Nosto, and in this video I'm going to explain to you how to use jQuery and JavaScript code within a Nosto recommendation template in order to enhance them and empower them with some graphic or other kind of functionality, animation, what's so on, if you want to add on your recommendation template, for example, a carousel or a slider, as you can find so many on the web, such as Sleek or Owl Carousel that we use very frequently, and so on. So for starting, I have prepared like a very light slide. jQuery or JavaScript loves Nosto. This is true because jQuery and JavaScript can easily work on our template, but of course we have to keep in mind some things. So first of all, why, even though you may be a developer, this needs to be explained, because as we know, Nosto is loaded onto your web shop within an iframe, which makes the aiming of the DOM element slightly different. And this has a pro and a contra. As a pro, we know that the script will never fight against others that have been loaded already on your same page. But as a contra, of course, handling the DOM may be a little bit tricky because the scripts are loaded in a different window. They are loaded elsewhere, so within the iframe. That's why scoping the right element in which to fire the jQuery may be slightly different, as we said. So first of all, bear into account if you are one of those developers that are going to look into the code of the web page, that unlike the HTML and the CSS, the JavaScript and the jQuery loaded through Nosto will not be visible in the page's rendered code. So let's start, and our starting point, as usual, is our Nosto dashboard and our test Magento shop, in which for here and here we have two different slots in which we are gonna recreate different examples. So in these slots, we are gonna create a template where the JavaScript that we are using and the jQuery is the same library, are the same libraries that are loaded onto your website. And in the second one, we're going to load an external library for a carousel called Sleek. In our case, is a carousel developed by a US developer called Ken Wheeler, that we use very often because it's very practical and a very scalable solution. Whatever. Let's start, and first let's create a template which use the JavaScript and the jQuery libraries already in this website, because of course this is Magento shop, and as every common website is loading different and several JavaScript and jQuery libraries, so of course also like the basic one, and we're going to use it just to create a fade-in, fade-out effect, as if it would be like a real thing you may want to recreate on your website. So first of all, we open our recommendation templates page here. And we have the Magento default template, that is the template you get when you subscribe to Nosto. And I've copied this as new with two different names, Magento Carousel and Magento jQuery. So first of all, we open this template here. All right, we are here. And now let's pretend that we want to add an over effect for these images, so that when the user steps on with the mouse, these images are going to fade a little bit and defade once the mouse is out. So I open my template that, as you can see, is the Magento default template. And I'm going to add some code, some JavaScript jQuery code at the bottom. So here, as usual, there we go. And now the first thing is that we have to select with the jQuery each element. And each element, as we know, either by speccing the code or by looking at the template, is called Nosto list item. This is the class. So what we're going to do is to type in this target window dot jQuery. This is an also proprietary jQuery selector, let's say. Let's call it like this. And it basically means that we are using a selector for the jQuery that is loaded in the target window. Also like easy to understand. And this is what usually would be equal to this, you know, dot, nosto, and whatsoever. This, if I want to use the library that is already loaded on your website, becomes this. And from here we start. Div ID. And Nosto item. So this means that jQuery is going to select, by means of the jQuery loaded in the target window, the Nosto list item that is contained in the div ID. Because as we know, this is going to be rendered with the name of the recommendation slot when the DOM element is loaded. So we are sure that we're going to find this jQuery only where this template is applied on. And here, just from here, the normal jQueries, you know, is start, mouse over, function, and here again, I copy this selector, this, dot one stop in order to stop the propagation of the effect, fade2, fast, 0.5, hyphen, and then I want to also recreate the same effect for the mouse out effect, so I will just copy and paste mouse out, and here an opacity of 1 to set it back. And that's it. The recommendation template has been saved, and now we reload the page where the template is applied on, and we see what happens. You see? So we have, if we go back to the code, let's check it again, and again, let's inspect it. So I have selected the element, Nosto list item that is contained in the div ID. With you just be sure of this to add this selector. Of course, this will work also without, but with this div ID, we add an extra mile control so that the jQuery will be fired only on that. And this is the selector which says, I'm using the jQuery of my target window, and the target window is where your e-commerce is. So it's also, let's say, self-explicative. There you go. Like as an extra info that I want to provide you here, there is a remember that, and there are some useful information regarding the jQuery target window. You can also go to our support page and read it more. But now let's start with let's go through another example. The second example. In this example, we want to recreate a carousel by means of Slick, that is a nice online library under the GIT license developed by Ken Wheeler, and it's a very useful one because it's responsive, it's very scalable, and the feature in the carousel can be added and removed very easily. So it's very user-friendly, and he has like a nice, it has like also nice fallbacks for older browsers, so it's something that I really suggest. And okay, let's start it. Let's go back. Let's open the Magento carousel. So as we said, this is like another copy of the basic template, so the Magento default template. And now here we're going to add an external call to an external jQuery library. That is the library of this carousel we're going to use. That is called Slick. And let's see how do we scope the Nosto recommendation slot through the template by means of jQuery and using the library within the template and not an external one. So let's scroll down and let's put our JavaScript code at the bottom of the document. Here you ignore this, it's just two libraries that I've added for the Slick carousel. Which are loaded onto our CDN just to not create like a mixed content or error on the console. So let's start. Script type as usual text JavaScript, and there we go. So first of all, we check that this code is fired only when the DOM element has been loaded and ready. Something that we haven't done in the previous example, but was not necessary because it was just plain jQuery. So we start with jQuery target window dot ready function. So in this way, we check that this function is executed only when the DOM element has been loaded. And we check this by saying that we use the jQuery that is loaded here. This is the jQuery library onto the window in the target window. So on the iframe of the target window, that is where Nosto is loaded. So as you can see, is a little bit different from the syntax of the previous example, right? Because it was target window dot jQuery, was basically the opposite. And now we're not using the jQuery of the target window, but we use jQuery in the target window. I know this may sound a little bit tricky, but once you've got this logic, you can use jQuery very, very easily within Nosto template. We delete this and we start to place our Slick code. But again, this is very important. jQuery target window dot document. In this way, we have to scope and to seek for the right element. So I've used like, I'm gonna find within the document. Now we are safe that we are within the window, so like the target of the jQuery, we are safely here inside. So we specify that the jQuery is gonna look for the element Nosto list. Okay, in this way we said like in the document, that is basically our iframe, we're gonna find within the div ID a Nosto list element, and where we're gonna apply the carousel. We're gonna apply the carousel, of course, I haven't specified this, not on the Nosto list item, but on the Nosto list, that is the another list which contains all the elements of the recommendation slot. So from here it starts like the syntax of the carousel, so probably you don't care because you probably are going to use another one, I don't know. But let me type in the Slick. Okay, rapid catch up here. So we have loaded the ready function. So we're checking when for firing the function, we're checking the target window to be ready, and the target window that we're gonna seek with the jQuery selector is basically the browser. And so like where you're in the end, in the render result, it will be your e-commerce, and the target window.document is going to be the iframe. So within the iframe, with this jQuery selector, we're going to look for the Nosto list, that is our unordered list containing all the elements of the recommendation slot that is within the div ID. And this, as we said, is like a safe procedure in order to scope only the right elements where to fire the jQuery. And from here, this is like the properties of our Slick carousel that I've called here, and these do not have to be explained. So let's save it and let's see how it looks on the website. As you can see, from a normal slot, using Magento default, our Magento default template, I've added a jQuery carousel easily. So thank you for watching this video, and see you the next time. Should you have further questions, visit our support center at support.nosto.com or drop us a line at support@nosto.com.